I'd like to introduce Sergeant John Paul Cartier of the Arizona State Department of Public Safety, state troopers. Arizona has a unique perspective on how they collect TIM performance measures through the crash report, and is probably the model for others around the country of how they collect it and how they use it. So with that, Sergeant Cartier.
Thank you and good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today to speak with you about traffic incident management, data collection and application, and I appreciate Paul inviting me to do so. Again, my name is John Paul Cartier with the Arizona Department of Public Safety State Troopers, and I'm here today to talk with you about Arizona's data collection and application of TIM, or Traffic Incident Management Performance Measures. And really, Arizona is using the collection of TIM performance measures identified by the Federal Highways Administration to collect and build a business case for executive level management, mid-level management, and the first responder stakeholders that are working traffic incidents on the ground. We're using this to develop policies, procedures, strategies, and really deploy our resources efficiently and effectively as we manage large and small-scale incidents that affect the transportation infrastructure each and every day. We use these data collection and performance measures to analyze the results of the strategies and the policies that we employ, and that helps us to institutionalize traffic incident management as we move forward in environments that really challenge us to work these incidents efficiently and effectively. How are we able to change our paradigms as first responders and move through into a new generation of managing these incidents in the environments we're working in? I'd like to share with you a few areas that agencies frequently evaluate: policies, procedures, training, and equipment for their effectiveness and efficiency. We must support, as first responders, our employees with the policies, procedures, training, and equipment that increases their safety and the safety of the motoring public when managing all traffic incidents on the roadway. We do that by collecting the data and showing that business case. Here I'd like to talk to you about an Arizona-specific electronic crash reporting system platform that we use at the State Troopers called TRAX, Traffic and Criminal Software. We use this daily on all of our enforcement actions, from traffic stops, vehicle tows, any other supplemental criminal forms that we may encounter while managing each incident on the roadway. Troopers enter data, and it's electronically documented on all collision reports and enforcement actions, and then that data is downloaded daily to the Arizona Department of Transportation in an electronic format. It's compiled in databases, and it captures the TIM performance measures. The Arizona State TRCC amended the crash report over the last few years to include the essential traffic incident management performance measures, as you see here identified. We can look at these crashes and determine, is it a secondary crash? What are our roadway and incident clearance times? And what are the performance measures that we have currently as our baselines, and how do we continue to improve as responders when managing each of these incidents on the roadway? The Arizona Department of Public Safety State Troopers can develop and modify specific forms within the TRAX system that allow us to capture specific performance measures that we want to use that are even further detailed by the data that we collect and analyze based on whichever specific incident, whether that's a collision, a traffic stop, a roadway closure, and we're able to identify those performance measures, as you see here, which mirror the Arizona State Crash Report form, and also add more specific detailed information of clearance times and other performance measures that we identify as important in our specific state and metro and rural areas. I'd like to show you that when you decide to collect and analyze the traffic incident management data, in Arizona, we can show that that business case can be built and used for a number of different public safety stakeholders, which you see identified here. The TIM data is collected by law enforcement generally, or roadside motor assists or freeway patrol service units or traffic operations centers, And that data is compiled and sent to the Department of Transportation, where it's compiled in different databases and then analyzed. And that data is used to effectively inform our politicians, our executive level management, and our first responder stakeholders on the ground so that we can develop new transportation initiatives, safety initiatives, and enforcement strategies, which then requires decision-making on funding and support. These data elements are critical to building the business case and then receiving the funding to implement these strategies on the roadway. It is an effective way to show each discipline and public safety stakeholder group how traffic incident management performance measures can show the effectiveness and the efficiency their group has when managing these incidents. It's really an integrated process and a collaborative approach. In the Arizona State Troopers, every 28 days, we have an accountability or performance measures reporting check on each of our patrol districts statewide. This gives the division and the department's colonel or director as a whole the opportunity to evaluate the challenges and the successes that we have in specific areas related to TIM performance measures. As you see highlighted here, we have current average roadway clearance times over the last 28 days, and then the last 28 days of average roadway clearance times documented. This allows the captain in each patrol district and the sergeants and troopers working these incidents with other first responder stakeholders on the ground the opportunity to analyze their effective strategies and challenges in their local areas and determine if they need to decide new courses of action, open dialogue, or include public safety stakeholders that have not been included to that point to better manage these incidents on the roadway, leading to reduced roadway and incident clearance times, reduced incident durations, and then allowing responders to proactively go back into service to serve the community they're assigned to more effectively. When we look at this particular map that's designed out of the TRAX or Traffic and Criminal Software Reporting System, we can heat map the different collisions and roadway incidents that are affecting our transportation infrastructure and analyze the severity from non-injury all the way up through injury and fatal crashes, the volume of the crashes, how many are occurring, and the location criteria. We can specifically adjust our patrol response based on the data we are collecting, which is related to TIM's performance measures. We are patrolling with a purpose. In times of constrained resources and funding, we are looking to maximize our department's ability to service the community and improve safety, not only for the responders, but for the citizens using the transportation infrastructure. And we need to do that in a calculated way by analyzing the data points that we collect and analyze. One of the slides I'd like to share with you is a specific Traffic Operations Center TIM subcomponent strategy. We have employed over the last year and a half, 2 years, the Traffic Operations Center co-location project where we embedded Traffic Operations Center operators from ADOT and sworn state troopers from our agency in order to work together side by side directly when managing incidents on a daily basis in not only the metro but the rural area. The impact of this strategy has been large in an economic sense and a quality of life impact. We have been able to show that in like comparison times before our existence of sworn troopers at the Traffic Operations Center and then during our existence of sworn troopers there, a reduction in roadway clearance on average of 63% or 54 minutes, nearly 1 hour per incident on average. That is a substantial amount of time to clear the roadway much faster than we ever did before using the technologies and other platforms available to us, including social media and public news stations, to advise the public and make sure that they're making informed decisions when using the transportation infrastructure in Arizona. When talking about building a business case, I'd like to identify that you need to collect the data and build that business case and provide it to the executive level management and those politicians and those federal government resources that are deciding your funding initiatives and the direction your patrol strategies and resources are being directed. Despite a 23% increase in the number of freeway crashes in the Metro Phoenix area, the time to clear those crashes was reduced by 63% on average as a result of employing one specific TIM strategy, the Traffic Operations Center. We were able to clear the freeway and reduce it by nearly 1 hour on average. And then overall, the savings due to a reduced traffic delay during 2015 is estimated at over $112 million as a result of this strategy. The traffic delay experienced by travelers in 2015 was reduced by nearly 8.4 million vehicle hours. And we were able to look at this as a cost-benefit ratio of nearly 250 to 1. Which is really a small investment for a large cost-benefit gain. This does not even include the potential savings from secondary crashes during the time that we were providing services at the Traffic Operations Center. How does this relate from a global perspective? In Arizona, how do we apply the stakeholders, how do they apply TIM data and the results of that business case to all levels of management and leadership when making decisions? We've recently had the Governor's Office scorecard, which has been implemented under Governor Ducey, where all state agencies are required to report on specific performance measures identified by that agency as important to them and important to the public safety and commuting population as a whole. The Arizona State Troopers have identified roadway incident clearance as one of the reporting measures to the Governor's Office on that scorecard. It allows us to have accountability in traffic incident management at the highest levels, from the Governor's Office all the way down to the responder working the incident on the roadway. The department conducts the 28-day reviews, which I reverted to in my earlier slides, where we're looking at management all the way down from the colonel to the trooper level and how we manage those incidents in all areas of the state, which may change based on geography, weather, resources, manpower, all of those different factors come into play. The Traffic Operations Center co-location project, we've been able to collect those TIM performance measures and build the business case for that strategy, the funding, and the assignment of sworn troopers to that particular work group. We use our TRACS office to support and train other agencies to improve TIM data collection through electronic reporting platforms. We are assigning sworn troopers in the Highway Patrol State Trooper Division to go out and liaison with other agencies and build their ability to collect those TIM performance measures and impact the county and the city level management of incidents as well. And then we have an ongoing analysis of TIM data to improve safety and accountability with other stakeholder groups, which include the Department of Transportation, the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, the Maricopa Association of Governments, our MPO, and we look at that and use that for our Aztec TIM Coalition and our Strategic Highway Safety Plan TIM emphasis area. It affects our first responders, and then we tie all of that data back into a built business case with federal highways efforts on a national level to not only help but support other states building traffic incident management programs, collecting data, and achieving the desired results of improved safety. We dedicate 2 analysts in the Highway Patrol Division to review and analyze TIM data and identify trends and patterns in our state and in our transportation system, which then inform the Highway Patrol Division staff and direct our patrol resources. I'd like to close by highlighting a couple of things regarding TIM data collection and application and the global impact of that. We as first responders must think about managing incidents from a global perspective. We can no longer focus on just the occurring safety issues directly at the scene when managing an incident. We have to think about the traffic queue, secondary crashes, the congestion, and the environmental impact of traffic incident management principles that help us better manage these incidents. By doing so, we can have a collaborative approach with outcomes that allow us to collect and analyze the data and then apply it. We can develop our 4 E's of engineering, education, enforcement, and EMS strategies and goals that better help our efforts out there on the roadway. We can improve our responder and public safety. We can improve communication. and improve our safe, quick clearance when working incidents. And ultimately, these things lead to a reduced number of secondary crashes. And those crashes also include first responders. We would look to institutionalize TIM training and practices and policy and procedure as a result of this built business case. It is the only way, by collecting TIM data, that we can substantiate our efforts in the area of funding and resource deployment. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity today to speak with you, share with you Arizona's business case on traffic incident management strategies and the data points that we collect. And I'd like to close by saying that what gets measured gets performed. If we do not have those data points, we cannot explain this business case to the public safety community and the public at large. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Thank you, Sergeant Cartier. That was, many jurisdictions and states collect TIM performance measures and do some very amazing things with the data. But I think the best example comes from Arizona in the crash report and the use of the use of the crash report and then the use of the data. I think is a model that if we could get increasing number of states to collect the data in that format, we would continue to change the way traffic incidents are handled in this country. A lot of the data that's collected throughout the country is transportation only, and in large part is missing that law enforcement piece. And this is an ideal and easily accomplished way to get the data that will help us continue to advance to the next generation of traffic incident management.